What's going on, everybody? It's TheNidien, and I'm bringing you some more Dark Souls. I wanted to get out maybe a little beginner's tips and tricks, get you guys some swords and armor that are pretty much right in the beginning of the game that are going to help you guys tenfold right through the game. First, you're going to want to go down to the New London Ruins. I don't have any gameplay footage of that, but if you guys request, I can get it up to show you guys what's going on. But you're going to want to go down to New London Ruins, which is right off the Firelink Ruins. And down there, if you have the Master Key, if you're a thief, which, by the way, right off the bat, I suggest as a gift, you pick the Master Key as any other class than the thief. It's going to allow you access to a lot of other areas you are not able to get into until you further progress the story. And I'm not exactly sure how far along you have to progress it in order to get to some of these places. But either way, you go down to the New London Ruins, you're going to find a little tower you can get into, and you can unlock the gate with the Master Key. If you follow the little planks and you go down the edge of the valley, you're going to find a dragon that's sleeping there, guarding a couple pieces of loot, and you're going to get yourself the Astral Sword. Now what that takes is 14 faith, 10 strength, and instead of 5, 6-shotting some of the enemies, depending on what type of class you are, you're going to one-shot swing, melee swing the enemies to death up until a certain point. Now, when you progress a little farther, you get some levels underneath your belt. What you're watching me is shooting the dragon tail. Now you can go in the first person mode on your arrow by hitting the L1 key and then R1 to let your arrow go. And you're going to want to time the swings of his tail a little bit in order to hit it. Once you hit it 15 times or so, the tail's going to fall off and you're going to get the Drake Sword. Now the Drake Sword is by far the best weapon I've found so far in the game. I'm sure there's better weapons as we go along, but the Drake Sword has minimal requirements. It has like 16 strength for requirement, and then you can just pretty much one-shot a lot of things. For example, with the broadsword that the knight was given off the bat, the second boss, when I did my repel attack, did 338 damage to him. With the Astral Sword, it did 668 damage, and I'm not exactly sure with the Drake Sword, I probably could have almost one-shot him off that thing. But that is what it is. So you're going to want to get this Drake Sword right off the bat, especially if you're a melee-focused character. Takes 16 strength, like I said. So figure that out when you're leveling up, or go and get it and then figure it out. But this is exactly how you get it. You shoot the tail 15 or so times, and that's it. You just got to hide your little body underneath this bridge and go from there. Now the second tip I want to give you guys is on the next little boss that you're going to be coming up, well, not a boss, but maybe like a little mini mob when you're coming up into this next little area. So the second little tip and trick I wanted to get you guys some armor for is on this boar. Now you're going to, after the dragon, you're going to come up and clear a few enemies out. There's about 6 or 7 of them you got to clear out. Nothing too crazy at this point, but there is this boar sitting here. Now, there's a couple different ways you can kill him. You can melee fight him, which can get very dangerous very quickly. You can draw him into the fire barrels down below. He'll burn up very quickly in that. But both ways, I didn't get anything to drop from him, and this time I just figured I would make it a little bit easier on myself, because once you do kill him, he doesn't come back. And I've restarted this game a few times. I killed a vendor and screwed it all up, which, by the way, is another tip real quick. Do not kill the vendors at all. It's going to cause you a lot of pain and agony later on. So as you can see, I'm shooting him in the butt here with arrows. It seems to hit him for 15 instead of having the good old 5 in the head where he's heavily armored. But once you shoot him in the butt a few times, he doesn't take long to get down at all. Arrows are pretty expendable. They only cost like 10 souls in this game. I noticed that he dropped something. Now that's how, in my opinion, that's the only way I've found out how to get the Fang Boar Helm, is to shoot him in the butt. Every other way I've tried, I haven't been able to get anything. But that's how you get it, and it's leagues above what you can get otherwise. The Fang, it's like 40 armor class higher than anything I've found in the game so far. But that's the Fang Boar Helm, and hopefully that helps you guys out. My third little tip I wanted to give you is on this Black Knight. Now you're going to run into this Black Knight, and depending on what class you are, it's going to be different. So take this from a Knight standpoint. For whatever I do, I'm going to be playing the game first and foremost through the game on a Knight. So this is how I do it. Now, with the broadsword, this guy is much more difficult. I was only hitting him for, 20 damage or so. But what you're seeing is I'm still using the Astral Sword at this point because I didn't have enough strength to level up and use the Drake Sword. So I'm still using the Astral Sword at this point. But the Astral Sword makes quick work of even this guy. And what he drops is a tower shield, steel gauntlets, possibly even more. The first time I fought him, I didn't get anything. The second go around right here, I got a lot more. I'm not exactly sure how these boss fights play out with loot-wise, if it depends on humanity or what, but like I said, the first time I didn't get anything at all except a shard. The second time, I got his steel gauntlets, and I got the shield that he's wearing right now to drop, which I'm waiting to use because, for example, there's a lot of things that take 30 strength at the point I'm getting to, so I'm working on getting my strength up. But there it is, the tower shield, get in his face, get it done, astral sword style, and that's the third tip. After you beat the Black Knight, you're going to find a little Firekeeper soul on an altar. What you're going to want to do is take the elevator down, your little shortcut to the ruins here, turn it in, upgrade your Estus Flask. Another tip real quick while you're here in the Firelink ruins is to use the bonfire at the Firelink ruins and shortcuts to your advantage. It gives you 10 fill-ups instead of 5 at other bonfires, so that's my fourth tip. Use the Firelink ruins bonfire as much as possible and turn that in as fast as possible. After you fill yourself back up and you're coming back into the chapel, clearing some more out, you're going to have a couple of pretty tough nights, but once you get the hang of their attacks and everything, they're really easy to take out, and once again, much easier with the Astral Sword at this point. But what you're going to run into is a little sorcerer up there with a bunch of little zombie minions, and there were several different ways I went about this the first time. But the easiest way I found it was this right here. If you pull him, if you aggro him, and then you run down the stairs, he gets stuck at the top of the stairs and just hangs out there every single time, no matter what. I don't know why, but that's just where he stands, and he blocks some of the zombies off with him. So the zombies are trying to get down past him, but due to collision detection, it can't happen like that, so you're able to split the zombies up. Now, these guys don't hit very hard at all, but they hit frequently, and when you get a big, huge bunch of them, they can take you out literally in just a matter of seconds because there's so many of them hitting you at one time. So you draw them out little by little, fight them in bunches, and then go back up, and the sorcerer's going to be at the top of the stairs. Now, when he's at the top of the stairs, you're obviously not going to run up there and get in his face because the magic that he shoots out, the soul arrows, hit pretty hard, especially at this point in the game because you don't have really very much, or you don't really have very good magic resistance, and I don't suggest at all to be putting any points in resistance at this point. Maybe 1 or 2 here and there. But if you pump your resistances, you're not going to be able to survive, and you're going to leave other things you need much more, like endurance, strength, vitality, and whatever else have you with your class, maybe intelligence for a sorcerer. But this is what I found. You come up, if you can pot shot some arrows at him. At first I was hitting him in the chest, and he was still able to cast off some spells. So I quickly got him to stop casting, and then started popping him in the head where he's just writhing in agony, and it just made the fight of this guy irrelevant, really. So I took him down, and this again is one of those guys. He doesn't come back once you take him down. He didn't drop any loot for me on this go around. Perhaps on another playthrough or another point in time, I'll run into another sorcerer just like him, and he may drop something. And when he does, I'll let you guys know. And maybe there's a tip or trick to it to get him to drop it every single time. I'm not exactly sure. But this is the easiest way to take him out for melee-focused characters and not have to worry about much of anything with this guy. If you get up in his face, he can be a real bear. But I wanted to show you guys this because I know a lot of people on forums and across other YouTube videos have had a lot of trouble with this guy. But what I'm going to leave you with is a little preview to the third boss fight, the Gargoyles boss fight. The boss fight itself is going to go up over on vidthrough.com, so when it does, I'll give you guys a link. But until that point, here's my beginner tips and tricks for Demon Souls for you guys if you guys are having frustrated or if you're going to pick up the game and just don't know how to go about it yet. That's what I got for you guys so far, and I hope you have a great day, great weekend. Keep your heads up. Peace.